The Illusionists Part 1, The Age of the Curated Self, Chapter 1, The Filtered Crown, Who Decides What Rich Looks Like Today? In 2023, a 24-year-old man named Kareem from the outskirts of Abuja posted a photo of himself boarding a private jet. Dressed in Balenciaga, sipping Veuve Clicquot, and flanked by two women in designer sunglasses, the image spread across social media with astonishing speed. By the end of the day, the post had gathered 110,000 likes and caught the attention of lifestyle brands, crypto promoters, and even an upstart magazine offering him a cover. There was just one issue. The jet was grounded permanently. It hadn't flown in years. Kareem had paid roughly $30 for an hour-long photo shoot in a decommissioned aircraft, available to anyone on the Nigerian influencer circuit. Within 72 hours, his follower count tripled. Offers flooded in. His income jumped tenfold. He didn't own the jet, but now he owned the illusion. We live in a world where wealth is increasingly measured by visibility, not assets. Power is no longer solely conferred by bank ledgers, but by algorithms, by how convincingly one can inhabit the aesthetic of affluence. What it means to be rich today is less about balance sheets and more about performance. The gilded life is not what you have, it's what people believe you have. This shift marks one of the most profound changes in modern economic culture. The illusionist class, those who project affluence with increasing precision, are redefining not just influence but truth itself. The question, who decides what rich looks like, might once have been answered by bankers, oil tycoons, or monarchs. Today it is answered by algorithms and audiences, by the likes, reposts, and followings that decide who gets front row at Fashion Week, who gets invited to speak on panels about visionary entrepreneurship, and who sells out masterclasses on success while renting their suits. In a report from WealthX, 72% of new affluent identities under the age of 35 have a significant online presence that outweighs their reported net worth. In the past, this would be dismissed as fake it till you make it. Now it's a business model. An entire economy revolves around the curation of elite identity, designer rental services, flex locations like faux office sets and jet interiors, ghost-written success bios, and virtual assistants trained to mimic high-net-worth scheduling habits. These industries are not marginal, they are booming. According to Statista, the global influencer marketing industry surpassed $21 billion in 2023, with a significant portion tied to lifestyle and luxury branding. Behind every filtered crown is a supply chain of illusion. One evening in Los Angeles, I sat across from Maya, a former lifestyle influencer who had quietly left the platform that once made her a household name among beauty aficionados. For 3 years, Maya's Instagram depicted the perfect modern heiress, brunches in Malibu, Dior handbags, and yachts that glittered with sponsored champagne. In truth, she lived in a rented 2-bedroom apartment in East Hollywood, shared with a roommate and a rotating cast of brand collaborations she didn't entirely control. At her peak, she made $22,000 a month from product placement. She also had panic attacks every time her bank balance dropped below 5 figures. People kept asking me how I became so successful, she said, looking down at her tea. But I wasn't successful, I was just convincing. Maya's story is not rare. It is emblematic. The new rich are not necessarily those with legacy wealth, but those who have mastered the projection of it. This is not just a social shift, it's an epistemological one. Wealth has become aesthetic, power has become performative. And influence? Influence now belongs to those who know how to compose a frame. Consider the cityscape, from Dubai's mirrored skyline to the rooftops of Shanghai, from Banana Island in Lagos to Beverly Hills in California. The global language of wealth is visual and, often, deliberately misleading. Gated communities are branded as exclusive, even when they offer time-shared penthouses. Luxury car dealerships offer hourly rentals with full concierge services. In many cities, it is easier to appear upper class than to access the basic security of a middle-class life. This illusion economy is both seductive and sinister. It democratizes access to elite identity, letting those outside hereditary wealth participate in its fantasy. But it also masks inequality. When everyone looks rich online, the urgency of poverty disappears. The aspirational filter becomes a political aesthetic. Social media creates the illusion that we're all just one hustle away from owning the life we watch. But we aren't. Because what's being sold isn't access, it's performance. The cultural consequences are profound. In place of traditional class signals, accent, education, family lineage, we now prioritize optics. A self-made man used to mean grit, patience, delayed reward. Today it means a camera-ready moment. A Gucci belt might say more in a thumbnail than a college degree. We've moved from meritocracy to aestheticocracy, the rule of those who look the part best. This matters because institutions are adapting. PR agencies now coach politicians, CEOs, and NGO founders on how to influence like an influencer. Billionaires hire entire teams to control how they appear in the digital world, how they post, what they wear, which humble anecdote makes them seem more real. Entire brands are built on the illusion of relatable affluence, luxury without arrogance, wealth without guilt. This is not authenticity. It is strategy. Kareem, the man in the grounded jet, now runs seminars on confidence and digital success. He speaks about mindset, manifestation, and elevating your visual identity. "I wasn't lying," he once said in a podcast interview. "I was visualizing." But what happens when visualization becomes indistinguishable from deception? What happens when influence is divorced from accountability? The filtered crown is not simply an Instagram story. It's a global phenomenon that reshapes how we define success, how we distribute opportunity, and how we understand reality. In the court of modern prestige, appearances have dethroned substance. This chapter doesn't end with an answer. It begins with a warning. In a world where visibility equals value, we must ask not just who wears the crown, but who decided what it should look like in the first place, and what they're hiding beneath the gold. Chapter 2. Fake It Nation. Why is pretending to be wealthy a global trend? In 2019, a luxury car was parked outside the Gucci flagship store on Orchard Road in Singapore. A small crowd gathered as a young man, barely out of his teens, stepped out, adjusted his sunglasses, and posed next to the car as if it were his own. A hired photographer snapped shots from every angle while a friend recorded TikTok footage. 20 minutes later, the shoot was over. The man climbed onto a motorbike and sped off. The car, it turned out, was part of a growing rental service specializing in prestige props for influencers, weddings, and digital entrepreneurs. By 2023, similar scenes played out in Bangkok, Johannesburg, Sao Paulo, Los Angeles, and even on dusty highways in rural Kazakhstan, where local teenagers uploaded YouTube videos pretending to own villas and sports cars. In Mexico City, you could rent a fake private jet set and upload the footage to your YouTube shorts for under $200. In Shanghai, luxury live stream streets cropped up where hopefuls faked business deals in cafes with fake laptops and silent Zoom calls. It wasn't a prank. It was the economy. The global performance of wealth, what some economists now call the status simulation economy, has become a defining phenomenon of our digital era. No longer confined to the ultra-rich, the appearance of affluence is now marketed, purchased, and displayed by millions across class and cultural boundaries. It is democratized illusion, available to anyone with a ring light, an editing app, and a curated feed. But why? Why is pretending to be rich, more than ever before, a worldwide aspiration? To understand this, we must first recognize that the illusion of wealth offers something even more valuable than money in the modern world: belonging, credibility, and safety. Status in the age of visibility. In traditional societies, social rank was inherited. In modern industrial economies, success was often tied to education, skill, or hard work, at least in theory. But in the post-industrial, digitized global economy, visibility has overtaken merit. What you can project becomes more important than what you can prove. We are living through a shift that sociologist Shoshana Zuboff might describe as the surveillance of aspiration, where social platforms monitor not just behavior, but desire, and algorithmically reward those who most convincingly perform upward mobility. In other words, pretending to be rich can actually make you rich, or at least make you appear trustworthy enough to be given credit, clout, or contracts. As one Nairobi-based social media coach told me, "You dress for the job you want. Now you post for the income you don't have, yet." Globalization of the illusion, pretending to be wealthy isn't new. What's new is the scale, speed, and systems now supporting it. According to a 2022 report by Hootsuite, over 4.7 billion people worldwide use social media, many of them in emerging economies where the gap between visibility and reality is the widest. In Manila, you can rent designer handbags for a weekend photo shoot. In Lagos, teenagers record rap videos in borrowed mansions that belong to absentee oligarchs. In Rio de Janeiro, it's not uncommon for micro-influencers to take photos with rooftop pools they have no legal access to. Some are chased away. Others are quietly paid by developers to stay and post. The illusion feeds itself. 3 forces behind the fakery. 1. Social pressure. In cultures where family honor and community pride are tightly interwoven with public appearance, the pressure to show success, especially among youth, is immense. A failed image can be more damaging than a failed career. 2. Economic insecurity. In an unstable economy, projecting affluence becomes a protective mask. For many, faking wealth is a survival strategy. It creates the perception of stability in places where financial systems are fragile and opportunities scarce. 3. Digital monetization models. Platforms like Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube reward glamour with visibility, which converts into real money via brand partnerships, affiliate deals, or digital donations. If a fake lifestyle boosts engagement, then fakery becomes profitable. The illusion industry. This demand has given rise to what economists at MIT call the illusion supply chain. This includes image consultants who specialize in turning lower-middle-class clients into six-figure-looking entrepreneurs, fake watch rental services operating in cities like London and Hong Kong, bot farms in Eastern Europe that inflate follower counts to simulate influence, editing studios in Seoul that can turn your bedroom into a Manhattan penthouse with the click of a mouse. In many cases, the illusionist isn't even trying to deceive. They're trying to survive in a world where invisibility feels more dangerous than dishonesty. The paradox of projection. 1. Bangkok-based sociologist described this phenomenon as a desperation aesthetic. She noted, when inequality is high and mobility is low, people reach for the tools of the elite, not to mock them, but to feel momentarily free from what cages them. This projection creates a paradox. The more we pretend, the more others believe. The more others believe, the more the illusion sets the standard. Eventually, those who are actually wealthy begin copying those pretending to be. The faker becomes the trendsetter. This feedback loop reshapes everything, from how companies hire, to how banks assess trust, to how cultural legitimacy is defined. A world built on appearances. The danger is not just that people are faking it, it's that institutions are starting to believe it. Investors back startups based on vibes. Voters are swayed by polished YouTube channels more than policy. Employers browse TikTok before resumes. A 2022 Harvard Business Review article revealed that among early career professionals, those with elite aesthetics, expensive clothes, curated feeds, international travel photos, were 43% more likely to be offered freelance contracts or partnership opportunities, even when their qualifications were identical to those with modest profiles. The illusion is now a credential. Conclusion. Pretending as protest, as poison. Pretending to be wealthy is no longer a personal choice. It is becoming a cultural imperative. For some, it's an act of protest against exclusion. For others, it's a poison that obscures inequality, numbs empathy, and raises impossible standards. But here's the central truth. A society that demands illusions will never reward authenticity. If we're all too busy performing the life we want, who's left to build the one we need? The curtain isn't rising on prosperity, it's falling on reality. And we are all, willingly or not, part of the cast of Fake It Nation. Chapter 3. The Rise of the Flex Economy. How do people monetize appearances? The video opens with a slow-motion walk across a marble floor. A man in a three-piece Tom Ford suit turns, holding a leather briefcase as the camera zooms in on his Rolex. He nods. Fade to black. The next frame shows him stepping into a sports car parked in front of a five-star hotel. The caption reads, "Financial freedom is a mindset. DM me to unlock yours." Within minutes, the comments flood in. How did you start? What's your course? Bro, put me on. This isn't a trailer for a Netflix series. It's a promotional video from a 22-year-old luxury coach in Kuala Lumpur with no verified income source, no degree in finance, and no registered business. But in the flex economy, those things are optional. What matters is the frame, the feeling, the facade. In this new economic order, the illusion of wealth has become a currency in itself, a tool to attract real income, real followers, and real power. Welcome to the flex economy, a digital, borderless marketplace where appearances aren't just branding, they're business models. Defining the flex economy. To understand the flex economy, we must redefine what constitutes labor and value in the 21st century. In traditional economies, people exchange time or skill for wages. In the flex economy, people exchange perceived lifestyle for influence, and influence for money. A curated Instagram feed becomes a portfolio. A viral Get Ready With Me video becomes a sales funnel. Even a fake luxury watch, framed correctly, becomes an invitation to an affiliate scheme or mentorship program. According to a 2023 report from Influencer Marketing Hub, over 80 million people globally now identify as content creators. Of those, nearly half earn income not from content itself, but from services, merchandise, and coaching platforms linked to the lifestyle they project. That is the heart of the flex economy. Appearances packaged as potential, hustle as performance. In Lagos, I met Tunde, a man who sells digital real estate courses but does not own any property. His income comes not from investments, but from affiliate sales and speaking engagements. Tunde drives a rented G-Wagon with his Instagram handle wrapped across the side and a QR code linking to his course page. "I don't need to own the car," he explained. "I just need people to believe I do. Because belief is what converts." Tunde is not unique. Across Johannesburg, Manila, São Paulo, Mumbai, and Atlanta, there's an entire class of digital entrepreneurs who've learned to weaponize perception. Their product is not education, not experience, it's aspiration. Their audience pays not for expertise, but for proximity to the idea of success. The monetization chain, here's how the flex economy works in practice. 1. Stage the illusion. A lifestyle is created, often through rented items, locations, or edited imagery. These visuals are deployed across TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and LinkedIn. 2. Harvest attention. Once the content gains traction, the influencer is able to monetize engagement through platform ad revenue or brand partnerships. 3. Leverage authority. The next phase is the sale of authority. Ebooks, webinars, dropshipping mentorships, digital courses, or consultancy services, most often in fields adjacent to business, investing, or crypto. 4. Build passive streams. Once credibility is established, real or not, the influencer may generate income through affiliate links, referral networks, or pay-to-enter communities like Discord channels and Telegram groups. In this cycle, reality is optional. What matters is the simulation. How convincingly one can simulate wealth long enough to extract value from others who want it. The role of social platforms. The flex economy wouldn't exist without algorithms designed to reward spectacle. On TikTok, videos with luxury aesthetics outperform casual content by as much as 47%, according to a 2022 report by Later.com. Instagram's Explore feed prioritizes glossy visuals, while LinkedIn now favors success storytelling, often indistinguishable from flexing in a suit. The platforms have become amplifiers for illusion. They are not neutral stages. They are enablers, pushing content that embodies the myth of instant success, visible wealth, and curated upward mobility. The morality of monetized identity critics might dismiss these influencers as scammers, but the reality is more complicated. Many participants in the flex economy are not malicious. They are responding to economic systems that reward perception over proof. They are children of austerity, recession, and inequality who watched previous generations climb ladders that no longer exist. In many ways, their hustle is not deception, it's adaptation. But this moral gray zone carries consequences. In chasing the sale of appearance, truth becomes a casualty. Expertise is eroded. Vulnerable followers buy into visions that may never be delivered. And most tragically, real labor is devalued in favor of aestheticized hustle. A single well-lit photo in Santorini may generate more income than a month of manual work. This isn't just inequality, it's inversion. Global impact. Flexing as development narrative. In emerging economies, the flex economy is even reshaping national branding. Tourism boards now partner with influencers not based on their travel experience, but on the perceived affluence of their audience. In Dubai, entire influencer visa programs have been rolled out. In Saudi Arabia, the government has invested millions in visual narrative strategies to attract global admiration and foreign capital. On a micro level, this creates incentive for individuals to participate in performative wealth, even if it's unsustainable. On a macro level, it turns entire cities into stages for simulation. What's being built isn't prosperity, it's its reflection. From gig to glam, the gig economy was once hailed as the future of flexible labor. The flex economy has replaced it with something shinier, less stable, and far more emotionally costly. Where the gig worker trades time, the flex worker trades self, appearance, image, and identity. And when your income depends on your illusion, the line between persona and person begins to blur. Burnout, mental health struggles, and identity crises are now common among mid-tier influencers. Those who aren't rich, but can't afford to stop looking like they are. Conclusion: monetizing the mirage. The flex economy is not a fringe phenomenon. It is a mirror held up to a world where reality has been priced out of relevance. Where the illusion of wealth is more lucrative than wealth itself. Where digital masks become marketable identities. And where the only sin greater than lying is being invisible. The rise of the flex economy forces us to ask, what happens to a culture when performance becomes the profession? What's left when substance is replaced by optics? And what kind of future are we building, if the only currency that matters is how well you can appear to have made it? Because in this new economy, it's not just what you do that pays. It's how convincingly you pose while doing it.